What's going on, everybody? I'm back with another video. This video is going to be looking at how Julian Nagelsmann is going to line up Bayern and some tactics he's going to implement for next season. But before we start, take a look at my book. The link is in the description below. Also, if you want to get a free copy, become a member to the YouTube channel, like and subscribe. The support is hugely appreciated, but let's get right into it. So I have the lineup lined up in a 4-4-2 right here. Defensively, it'll either be a 4-2-3-1 or a 5-3-2, depending on the personnel he uses to go with. And we obviously have Upamecano coming in at central defense, and obviously Alba leaving for Real Madrid. So in the first phase of the build-up, the half spaces are always crucial to Julian Nagelsmann's side, and especially the advanced half space and the 10 area. So now what we'll be looking at here is how Julian Nagelsmann uses them, the personnel with Thomas Muller and Lewandowski. Lewandowski typically going to be playing a higher role, with Thomas Muller more often than not occupying the 10 area to then move into spaces such as the half space. In the first third of build-up, he'll more than likely go with the double pivot of Joshua Kimmich and Goretzka. So from here, the back 4/5, depending on the personnel he goes with, gets a little tricky. Upamecano will probably start with Boateng, but then depending on who he has at fullback, we'll start to see a bit of asymmetry. If Lucas Hernandez starts to create a back 3 with a left-footed central defender, there may be some asymmetry and overloads in the first third to then use a single width on one side with the wingers, or they could have simplified roles of just being a little bit more of narrow fullbacks. But if Alphonso Davies comes into the team, we'll probably see Serge Gnabry, who's a little bit better between the lines, and Alphonso Davies will occupy the wide area, with then Gnabry coming to the center, Thomas Muller staying between the lines, and Lewandowski then playing higher up the field. And that's just a few personnel things that we're looking to figure out as he takes the role and takes the team in the direction that he wants to. So moving up the field then, we'll definitely see his first line of progression using some sort of rondo and using the space in the high block to progress to create positional superiority and numerical superiority, using the wide areas in the half space, and probably some sort of rondo situation with some dynamic movement. Moving into the midfield third now, we can see a few positional changes, and depending on who goes where, we'll probably see Kimmich as a lone central pivot with a back 3. If Lucas Hernandez starts, he would make most sense to go on the left as his left-footed central defense, Boateng through the center, and Upamecano on the right, just because of Boateng's experience, and then Upamecano playing on his right foot and having a little more vertical mobility, as well as Hernandez. But with Kimmich as the central midfielder and the lone pivot, he has direct access to the 3 advanced areas through the half space, the central corridor, and the other half space. Goretzka, playing more as an 8, shows more versatility in how he plays and can drop deeper as a double pivot if they need more security in possession. Now going with Coman and Sané in the wide positions, we have Pavard, who would most likely play narrow, not quite the qualities to enter the half space to play as an inverted fullback, but simplifying his role, playing the wide area but playing narrow to create diagonality into Sané to then exploit 1v1, and Lewandowski, always the option to drop deeper to initiate a third man movement and create a 4-man rondo situation. Lewandowski probably playing higher up the field to then attract more defense, with Muller playing between the lines, looking to occupy space. And this is all depending on personnel. So now we'll look at the next set of personnel changes that we can have. So now Thomas Muller goes between the lines as the 10, Gnabry goes into an advanced area, Goretzka playing a bit deeper, and now the movement, the free space, is the right advanced half space, which can be occupied by either Goretzka or Thomas Muller, as we'll see here, to create a diamond or an asymmetric midfield box. And this is all just ways to occupy the advanced areas to then create more controlled progression. And depending on the asymmetry they want to use, Lewandowski will play more of a pinning role, probably on this weak side, because with Davies and Gnabry on one side, they probably want to operate in more space to create isolation and use the qualities of these two players to run out the defense, and they would be better used in a more vacated space. So when Lewandowski countering this, staying on the weak side to then enter the box, he also plays a pinning role for Muller or Goretzka, who's ever occupying this advanced right half space. Pavard, with the absence of Hernandez, then comes in as a asymmetric back four as the deeper right fullback, playing a right central defender role in possession with Upamecano and Boateng alongside him. So when he receives the ball, he'll be looking at his picture in front of him. So when he receives the ball, Thomas Muller will either be in the advanced half space, the 10 area, with then Goretzka, who would occupy the advanced half space, but he'd have Lewandowski and Sané pinning and creating a 2v1 or a lose-lose situation for the defense trying to defend this. So these are just a few concepts I anticipate Julian Nagelsmann using, and how he's going to use these. It'll be really interesting to see, but more his philosophy of positional play, creating controlled progression, using possession as a tool, all these principles that his teams typically have. It's going to be really interesting to see how they do in the Bundesliga next year and then in the Champions League as well. So I hope you guys liked the video. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.